more information about Congressman George Santos's past is being uncovered.
Yeah, the Republican was questioned by the Secret Service in a 2017 credit card fraud investigation. And sources told CBS News that Santos was interviewed then by the Secret Service in New York and that he voluntarily surrendered 2 cell phones. A man Santos has called a family friend, his term, was arrested in Seattle for trying to skim ATM numbers from tourists in the city. A Seattle detective also interviewed Santos, and the congressman has not commented on this still open investigation. For more on it, let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane, fresh from covering the 4-day work week this morning on CBS Mornings. Now talking about what has made a lot of work for a lot of reporters as they try to figure out what is going on with the election and the past of George Santos. So what more can you tell us about how the congressman and why the congressman was involved in this credit card fraud investigation?
Let's take a look at the big picture first here, Tony. Covering George Santos's around-the-clock expedition at this moment in time. There are so many threads to pull on. And in just his second month in the U.S. Congress, he is perhaps the most famous name among the newly elected to the U.S. Congress. So that's the backdrop of where we find ourselves with our latest CBS News reporting that the Secret Service investigated or questioned George Santos in relation to this broader ATM skimming case, which, according to our reporting, remains open, and in which Santos is neither the target nor a suspect, but he is relevant to this investigation. His name or his information was found in a rental car that was part of the probe by federal agents. But the bottom line is much clearer. This is the latest, not the first investigation in which George Santos has found himself in the crosshairs. There's an investigation ongoing now for 15 years in Brazil into an alleged fraud case there involving Santos. We know federal investigators and a local investigator are looking into claims he made about his past, baseless claims about his past. There are any number of complaints to the Federal Elections Commission about his campaign disclosures, whether those were accurate and lawful. There's been a referral to the House Ethics Committee for an internal review of his conduct or misconduct, and that's just in the first 6 weeks of his term in office.
And it's innumerable. I mean, there's so many different elements, stories, or investigations. We did know that, he's not a suspect in this case. The man, Gustavo Rivero Trelia, was the suspect. We know police interrogated or interviewed, rather, Santos. Why is it so significant that he spoke with the Secret Service as well, and why the Secret Service?
Well, ultimately, this is federal law enforcement now with whom George Santos spoke, not a local or international investigator. It brings it to a higher level that he's part of a federal investigation of some sort, in some way and in some complexion. But I think it really adds to the political issue here. He's already under pressure and under scrutiny from his fellow House Republicans to either step aside or to be expelled from the U.S. Congress. Any nexus, any intersection with the U.S. Secret Service only complicates that matter more. George Santos is now a matter of political survival, and that survival gets more complicated every time his name surfaces in a new or old investigation.
All right, Scott, from survival to career progression, Michigan Democratic Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin, she says she is entering the race to take over the Senate seat from retiring Senator Debbie Stabenow. What can you tell us about her chances in that race?
A hugely important race for Democrats. They face a very challenging map in 2024. A lot of closely contested states in which they hold seats and are trying to maintain those seats. Michigan is one of them. They also have to fight to preserve a seat in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, in Montana. Add Michigan to the list now that Debbie Stabenow is retiring. Elissa Slotkin comes from a purple district in Michigan, the Lansing, Michigan area. And as somebody who lived in Michigan for a while, I've got to do the Michigan map on my hand. Lansing, Michigan's right there in the south central part of Michigan. It is a competitive area, one that she's proven able to win. Perhaps that indicates a statewide political force could be mustered by her in 2024. But we know this unequivocally. Democrats are concerned about these purple states, these states that were won by Donald Trump in either 2016 or 2020, in which they have to fight to maintain the Senate majority. It's an uphill fight. perhaps Congresswoman Slotkin gives them a decent chance, if not a favorable chance, to hold it.
Scott MacFarlane, thank you.